Hello guys, welcome back to Analog Daydreams, and today we're going to talk about my top records of 2024. And I know this video is coming out a little bit later since we're in 2025, but I really wanted to reflect on this list and, talk over, why I ranked these records in the order that I did. But yeah, so first we're going to start off with my honorable mentions, and 2024 was a crazy year for new music. We got a lot of great records like Short and Sweet, Romance from Fontaines DC, Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party, even something like this, Saviors. This wasn't like, I don't want to say it wasn't good enough to make my overall list. I really did enjoy this. Songs like Corvette, Summer, and The American Dream is Killing Me. This certainly is the best Green Day record we've got in probably 15 years. But with that being said, I would throw this towards the back end at like number 16, number 17. Originally, this was going to be a 50, top 50 best albums of the year list. But there's just so much good music, and I wanted to condense it. I didn't want this to be a super long video. Because I have other projects that I wanted to work on. But yeah, so in the honorable mentions, you'll see like the new Kendrick record, Chromacopia, stuff like that. Charm by Clairo, that was another record that I really digged last year. Even like Ariana Grande's new record, that was really good. I think overall that's her best record since like 2018, 2019-ish. Certainly her best recent effort, but really it was a stacked year last year, and I'm still finding new albums that I kind of missed out on, that kind of came out in November, or October, November-ish, so this is like a part 1 video, so this will be like the complete list going from 8 to 1. The following video after this will be my top anticipated records of 2025, which will probably come out, in the coming days after this. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the honorable mentions. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Coming in at number 8 is McGee's record, 2 Star in the Dream Police, which I absolutely love. I absolutely loved that record when it first came out, and I still do. It's still in rotation. Songs like I Want and Candy, I'm overplaying those constantly. I just love them, and I wasn't expecting, for that record overall to be on this list, because it took a while for me to get into it. It took me about a few listens to really get into McGee, and yeah, so the record's great. I saw him live this year too. He was amazing, a really talented artist, a really, really good artist live too. Highly recommend seeing him live. His shows are so unique, and his gear is really cool too. The rig that he has is insane, and seeing pictures of it and like being close to it, being a couple of rows back from him was really cool. But yeah, McGee's coming in at number 8 with 2 Star in the Dream Police. And originally at number 8, I was gonna put the Dare's debut record, because I was really into his stuff, but I couldn't really find anywhere to slot that in, so that's number 8. So number 7, and this will come as a complete shock to a lot of people, and that is Insano or Insano by Kid Cudi. And I know what you're saying, wow, this record is so high on this list, and this was a record that was poorly received when it came out, and I understand that. It's not the best Kid Cudi record, but it's not the worst, and I'm such a Cudi fan. I eat up anything that he does, whether that's Wizard or Speeding Bullets Heaven or Kids See Ghosts. you know, Man on the Moon 3, 2, and 1, and all those classic records, Indie's record, and it grew on me a lot towards the back end. And I just recently picked this up on UDiscover's year-end sale for $6. And, you know, there's great songs in here like At the Party, Seven with Lil Wayne, My Favorite Blue Sky, love that song. Um, a lot of stuff on here is great. A lot of it's great. Get Off Me with Travis Scott, another great song. This is a good record, and it sounds really good on vinyl. I was really pleasantly surprised by that. You know, and this is the alternate cover, and I think this is a cool cover, but this was a really poorly received project, and I understand it. You know, Cuddy's been like, I don't want to say Cuddy's been on a downward decline. He certainly isn't putting out Man on the Moon 1 or 2 or anything. I think this is pretty cool, you know, having a record full of party bangers, you know, a party record. I mean, that's what Cuddy said that this record was intended for, being a party record. You know, I mean, every song on here is a banger, an endearing record, and it wasn't done just to be a cash grab or anything like that. I just think, had it been promoted better, and you know, maybe split up a little bit, because we also got Insano, you know, the deluxe version, and there was a lot of good stuff on that. There was a Wizard song in that, and another song from '07, and a song with two of the guys from Bone Thugs and Harmony, which was really cool. I think had we got some of the songs from that record mixed with these, you know, or if we would have just got one record scaled down to maybe 13 or 14 songs, I think it probably would have been more well received. But overall, for me, no complaints on this record. Absolutely digging it. So yeah, Kid Cudi's Insano is number 7 on our list. So at number 6, we've got Model by Wallows. And Wallows are a band that I've loved for a very, very long time in my life. Going back to like freshman year of high school, you know, when their debut record came out, and Are You Bored Yet was all over alternative radio and community radio and stuff like that, college radio. This record's great. Calling After Me and the other singles from this record I absolutely adore. Songs like Bad Dream are great. You know, and I got this on sale at Target late last year. And this is just a really well put together record that I don't hear anyone talking about, because, you know, we got a lot of good music last year. And if something like this would have came out this year, it would have been a top 10 record on everybody's list. But because, you know, a lot of records came out, we had a lot of major releases from, you know, February to about August or so. You know, a lot of stuff got lost in the shuffle. And this was one of those releases that kind of got lost in the shuffle because it came out the same day, if not same week, as Clancy by the 21 Pilots, and the Cage the Elephant record that was out at the time, Neon Pill. You know, that's another record that I like, you know, that it didn't even make the honorable mentions list because there's just so much good music from this year. So, yeah, Model by Wallows. Alright, so at number 5, we've got Moon Music, the new record by Coldplay, which is music of the Spears Volume 2. And now, I'm a big Coldplay fan. You know, I've been a fan for a very long time, since I was a child. You know, going back to like the 2010s growing up, a lot of their songs were on radio. I mean, they had a lot of hits. You know, a lot of hits, man. Hymn for the Weekend, My Favorite Adventure of a Lifetime, that's a great song. You know, then I got to that phase where I was like, oh, I don't like Coldplay because, you know, I'm indie or whatever. You know, you get to that point when you're a teenager that you're not really a fan of mainstream music all that much. And then eventually, you know, Everyday Life came out in 2019 with Arabesque and Orphans, and I love that record. That's what got me back into Coldplay. You know, I think Coldplay are honestly one of the best bands of the modern era. You know, I don't think they've put out a bad record ever. From what I like about them, you know, I love pretty much all of their records, minus a few. I believe Ghost Stories is the one that has that Sky Full of Stars. I'm not a big fan of that record, but you know that wasn't a horrible record by any means, and that was a new sound for them at that point. You know, something they haven't done. But this record's really good, and the first single, I believe, was "Feels Like I'm Falling in Love," and I absolutely love that song. One of my top songs from last year, one of the best singles. I picked this up the week that it came out, and you know, this is one of those things where it's a limited edition first pressing CD. The Rolling Stones are doing that, I think, with their new live record. But the crazy and shocking thing about this record is that it went number one on the Billboard charts. An album by a band in 2024 went number one on the U.S. Billboard charts. That's crazy. And no, not the rock charts, the Billboard album charts, the Billboard 200. I think the last time that happened was with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and their, you know, comeback record that came out in 2022, I think. You know, the record that's got Black Summer on it, you know, and that was a shock when that happened too. But I guess, you know, the hype then was so high because John Frusciante was back in the band, you know, and with this, I was really shocked that this, you know, beat out Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet to be the number one record. I thought for sure this would be like a top 5 record, you know, number 4, number 5 at most, not number 1. So that was a really cool, pleasant surprise, you know, and there is so many versions of this record. This is one of those albums that came out last year that had like 90 variants. And I'm not knocking Coldplay for that. Obviously, you gotta sell your records. I wanted the journal version that had Chris Martin's notes in it. I'm still on the lookout for that one. I think that's pretty cool, you know. But this is still great too, and I love the packaging. I feel like this should got nominated for a Grammy. It should get nominated for a Grammy, at least for its packaging. Because I know that's the thing they do at the Grammys with, you know, packaging and stuff. So this record's great. Absolutely love it. You know, Coldplay really bounced back. Music of the Spheres Volume 1 had Higher Power on it, and I liked that. That was a good, you know, a good tune. They also had the BTS collab that I believe was a number 1 hit in America for a week or two, which was crazy. But, you know, that record I wasn't really a big fan of because that came at a weird time for me musically. That came out 2021, you know, and not a lot was really going on apart from Inhaler's debut record and a couple of, you know, indie releases and stuff like that. But yeah, great record by Coldplay, Moon Music, number 5. So number 4, Billie Eilish's new record, Hit Me Hard and Soft. And this record, absolutely love it. It's hard for me to put this at number 4. Like I said, there's so many great records that came out, and her brother Phineas came out with an amazing record that I, you know, absolutely love. And I've been playing that like crazy too, you know, and it's hard for me to slot that anywhere. But, you know, with this record, I'm surprised this didn't go to number 1. This is the best record by Billie Eilish to date. And, you know, you get songs like Wildflower, The Diner. The first single, I believe, was Lunch. And that was, you know, that was a big hit. It still is. Of course, the biggest hit off this record is Birds of a Feather, which, if I'm going to be honest, I know a lot of people are kind of sick of hearing it. I love it. I think it's a great tune. You know, I don't listen to pop radio that much to where I get burnt out from certain songs or, you know, artists. You know, I don't really listen to mainstream radio at all. The only kind of radio I really listen to is college or alternative or, you know, songs like As It Was by Harry Styles that I think are like among the best pop singles of the last 30 years. You know, and the team of Phineas and Billie is unmatched. I wouldn't be surprised if they swept the Grammys. And I know like the Grammys is a popularity contest, and you know, award shows don't really matter when it comes to art as long as you enjoy the art. You know, that's all that really matters. But I think in terms of recognition, this should get some kind of recognition at least. You know, it's a stacked year for the Grammys in the pop categories. You know, this is one of those classic records that I feel like in 10 years' time, people will still be talking about. You know, this will be a top 5 record at the end of the decade for sure, top 10 record. This will be on many lists. You know, and a great sounding CD, a great, you know, a great overall record, great lyrics, great production, great everything. Absolutely love this record. So yeah, Billie Eilish's Hit Me Hard and Soft coming in at number 4. Now at number 3, we have Only God Was Above Us by Vampire Weekend. And now, of course, this shouldn't come as a shocker. I'm a big Vampire Weekend fan. I've talked about it, you know, in the last video when I was talking about Father of the Bride. I saw them on this tour. They were absolutely amazing. Amazing show, amazing overall in every aspect. You know, hearing the songs from Father of the Bride was awesome. And hearing the you know, Capricorn and classical and ice cream piano, all that great stuff. And, you know, that's the stuff off this record. So when this record came out around April, I believe, I was kind of in a musical lull. I wasn't really listening to a lot of new music at the time. I just had a lot going on, you know, a lot of college stuff going on. When this record came out, I still gave it attention, and I loved it on my first listen. But originally, I didn't really pick up this record too much, maybe listen to it once or twice. It wasn't until I got tickets to see them that summer of last year that I really started listening to this record a lot. And then even after seeing them live on this tour, you know, I really, really started listening to this record even more after seeing them. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. The fact that not a lot of people are talking about this just shows how insane of a musical calendar year 2024 was. You know, as I was talking about, you know, a few records earlier with the new Wallows record that came out, this is another one of those records that I would figure would be on, like, a lot of lists, and it was, but it was in, like, the mid-20s to lower 30s. I mean, some lists it was top 5, top 10, but usually when Vampire Weekend drops a record, people stop and listen. And not that people didn't stop and listen, I just feel like because a lot of stuff had come out, you know, this was one of those things that kind of got lost a little bit. I mean, it's their lowest charting record, and the charting position doesn't mean anything. But, you know, I'm a music geek, music stat nerd. You know, I like looking into that stuff for historical purposes and just to kind of get an idea of what the record was like and how it was received. And this record, in my opinion, is tied for their best record yet. I feel like all of their records are the best at this point. You know, they keep putting out great records, and with songs like Classical and Capricorn, Ice Cream Piano, you know, Mary Boone and all of that, this record live was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And listening to this record is insane on a good pair of headphones. If you haven't listened to this record, highly recommend it. I picked this CD up literally the day after seeing them at my local record store. And, you know, this is one of my favorite pieces of concert merch that I own. You know, so I really feel like this record's a strong, fantastic record that should be talked about more. And maybe it will be. I feel like it will be as the years go on. I mean, people are finally starting to talk about Father of the Bride now, 5 years after that came out. And yeah, that was the #1 record, but, you know, it wasn't really talked about. It was talked about more than this, for sure. But in the general scheme of things, in mainstream, it wasn't fully talked about. I mean, it got its reception and its coverage and all of that, but it was very quick. And, you know, it was one of those things that, like, after the Grammys and all of that. This record's gonna catch on, much like their records do, because they're one of the very few bands, in my opinion, who have a flawless discography. You know, there's the 1975, no bias there, even though they are my favorite band. Vampire Weekend, and the band you'll see at number one, you know, later on. So, before we get to number one, we gotta talk about number two. And number two shouldn't come as no surprise, as it's Brat by Charlie XCX, and this is the deluxe edition. You know, there was 3 different versions. There's a 4th version, actually, a Japanese exclusive version that I saw recently with Talk Talk featuring Troye Sivan. That remix being one of the bonus tracks, which I kind of want to get that just for the exclusive cover, but I feel like this touches all the, you know, all the bases, apart from the, you know, deluxe edition, or the 2 CD version with the remix record, and the other CD that just has all this, but this is great too. One of my friends got me this for Christmas, and I absolutely love this record. I'm a big Charlie XCX fan. You know, I loved her collab with the 1975 when that came out. I love her work in general. I think she's great. I think she's a polarizing artist that doesn't get enough credit. And so last year, to see her get all of the attention and all the positive criticism and all of that, I was just so happy to see that, you know what I mean? And there's songs in here like Rewind that I absolutely love, 365, you know, Apple is a big hit, stuff like that, you know, Girl So Confusing, Spring Breakers, Guess, the Billy remix is insane, but this record, I absolutely love it, and this is a classic record that I feel like will be one of those things that, you know, as time goes on, people will be like, this is one of those records you need in your record collection. You know, if you need music from the 2020s, it'll be interesting to see what Charlie does after this. You know, seeing her go on arena tours is crazy, you know. I'm really happy, though, that she's finally getting the recognition that she deserves, because, you know, when she first came onto the scene in America, she had some big hits. You know, she had the I Love It remix with Iconopop. She had Fancy with Iggy Azalea. I remember hearing that all over the radio when I was a kid. But of course, her big breakthrough single, Boom Clap, you know, and then for a while it kind of went quiet. There was still some big, you know, TikTok hits with Boys in 1999, I believe that's called. You know, she still had big hits, but for a while people were very critical of her. She kind of turned into like an indie darling. You know, she put out those last 2 records in 2020 and 2022, you know, and those were like well-received records amongst the indie crowd, you know, amongst the crowd that I'm in. You know, everyone was talking about it, but this was her, you know, mainstream breakthrough, her magnum opus, if you will say, I guess, of the current times. You can't go wrong with anything by Charlie XCX. I mean, this record I love. You know, I would say it's tied for my favorite with Sucker. I think that's a great record, just because I'm a rock fan, you know, and that's got Breaking Up and all the, you know, great pop music, but you can't go wrong with anything by her. So now we'll talk about the number 1 record on this list. So, coming in at number 1, this shouldn't be a surprise or a shock to anyone if you've seen the background in my videos. Not this angle, this is the alternate angle, the setup angle. More on that in a little bit, but getting back on, you know, back on topic, coming in at number 1, Clancy by 21 Pilots. And now, you know, the reason why this is number 1 for me, you know, this is going to be a little bit long, folks, but, you know, there's a lot of good memories attached to this record for me, and a lot of bad ones. More bad ones than good. Those are personal, but anyways, you know, getting back on track here, I saw them in Cleveland, you know, and that's the main positive memory, seeing them live on this tour, and they were so amazing, you know, they blew me away. I wasn't in the pit. I was in the nosebleeds. I won tickets from an Instagram giveaway, and you know, just that whole like feeling of getting those tickets last minute and seeing them was so cool. You know, and being there in Columbus on the day of you know the release day for Clancy and watching them walk into Newport was like so crazy. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure like Tyler Joseph was like not even 2 feet from me. I literally watched him walk into Newport from the backstage. You know, and I saw Josh pull up in his Tesla, and that was just like so cool seeing that and being around all of that. You know, and this record's phenomenal, and it sucks not seeing really anyone talk about it. I'm really shocked. You know, this record debuted at number 3, I believe, number 3 or number 4, a top 5 record. Every song in here is amazing. You know, I mean, I love this record. It starts off with Overcompensate, which is the most insane intro to any 21 Pilots record ever. You know, and I'm probably gonna get some heat for that, but this record got me back into 21 Pilots. I was gone for a while, you know. It had been since Trench. I completely missed out on Scaled and Icy. Not completely. You know, I heard Saturday and, you know, Shy Away and all of that, Mulberry Street. And I wasn't a big fan of it at the time, much like a lot of people who ended up leaving the fan base because of that record. And that record's not a bad record. It isn't their best, you know, by any means. It's not a bad record by, you know, any means either. I think it just came out in weird circumstances and a weird time. You know, it was like one of those major rock releases from 2021, you know, and this record, though, completely clears Scaled and Icy. I mean, look at the cover. The cover is insane. You know, and then I have the listening party version. This one's really cool too, and this one's like kind of sought after. You know, I picked this up when I was at the listening party, or pre-ordered it, and that's like, you know, when I have the memories of this record, you know, I think of like going to the listening party and going to Columbus on release date for this thing and going to the fan exhibit and like just freaking out over how cool that was, being around like, you know, Tyler's piano and the Grammy, from, you know, the infamous Grammy. If you know 21 Pilots, then you know what I'm referring to. And just seeing all the cool stuff from all the other eras, you know, handwritten lyrics from Regional at Best, and, you know, a lot of stuff from '09, from the very beginning, the pre-Josh days. And, you know, 21 Pilots are one of those groups that they've been around in my life. You know, when I was 10 or 11 years old, I really got into them, much like a lot of people my age. You know, a lot of people who are around my age of like 18 to like 23, you know, we were there for this. You know, we were there for this band, we were there for Blurry Face and all of that, and, you know, the build up to Trench, and Trench is such a phenomenal record. You know, when that came out, that was so cool. You know, and seeing them live, though, on this tour was insane. Hearing Jumpsuit live was just mind-blowing. You know, I could definitely talk about this band forever, just based off this record alone. You know, my favorite off of here being Next Semester. You know, Next Semester is like a rock, you know, smash hit type thing. You know, Next Semester is very 90s, and that's what I loved about it. And that's what kind of drew me into this record as a whole, was that song. You know, and you have other songs like Midwest Indigo, another amazing rock song. You have the other single, Backslide, and hot take, I prefer the Craving version on the record as opposed to the single version, you know, Jenna's version. I think it's more heartfelt, and that's one of those songs that, you know, really kind of makes me emotional. You know, there's 2 songs on this record that really give me goosebumps. I mean, the whole record gives me goosebumps, but in the sense of, like, wanting to bawl my eyes out, that would be The Craving and Oldie Station. Oldie Station is tied with Next Semester for being my favorite song off this record because of the message of like pushing on through, you know, and everything about this record's special. The fact that we got, you know, videos for every song on the record, and the video for Paladin Straight, and everyone freaking out about that. I really hope that they play At the Risk of Feeling Dumb at some point. That's a song that should be on the tour set list, you know. It's a crazy song, an insane song. Of course you have Lavish, I love Lavish. Vignette with the crazy solo. In Cleveland, Tyler's keyboard kind of malfunctioned and he like stormed off stage, which was like super funny. But it still sounded cool and it was still cool. You know, this is something that like, it just baffles me that people don't talk about this enough. And I know it's 21 Pilots and their corporate rock music or whatever people want to say about them. You know, they're an amazing band that deserves a lot of recognition, and they've gotten that recognition. It's not like they haven't won Grammys, they haven't won awards, you know, they haven't been nominated. You know, for a long time being, they were nominated on every award show from Blurryface, or, you know, from Blurryface era to all, you know, all the way up to Scaled and Icy. I mean, they were still playing TV shows and stuff. I know recently they just did the Jingle Ball, but they were playing the iHeart Music Awards in 2021 and all of that. And but for this era to really not be talking about amongst the general public is crazy, because this record's better than, I would say, half of the records that were nominated in the rock category. I thought for sure this would be a surefire lock. I believe, you know, Jimmy Fallon said that this was the best-selling rock album of 2024. I don't know if that's still the case because, you know, this record came out and sold like 200,000 copies in its first week, but still, I believe this one sold almost 500K. And, you know, that's another thing about 21 Pilots. Everything they seem to do goes gold and platinum. And, you know, this is one of those records that I think is their best, their absolute best. I can never get tired of this record, you know, and yeah, so that is my list, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I kind of cut that off there towards the end, but yeah, Clancy at number 1, and I want to hear what you guys like from last year in the comments below, and what records you guys are excited for this year. I'm excited to talk about those in the next video. I'm excited to talk about this too, this will actually be the next video. I know I've been talking about it for a while. You know, I've been trying to find time, you know, in between life and all that to sit down and go through all of this and give you guys a good video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's, you know, made me really happy to see the support on the recent videos. You know, it's kind of funny that I decided to come back to YouTube, you know, super randomly, you know, after being away for nearly 5.5, 6 years. You know, I used to make videos all the time when I was 15, you know, back when it was B-Burbs 514, and then it was like, No Filter for a minute, and that I failed because that was a school project. Then I did that 75 video back in 2023, you know, talking about the Japanese Deluxe, which is right there, you know, but it's been really fun going back and doing this and kind of doing these like raw videos, you know what I mean, like minimal editing, just putting it all together, uploading it, but the quality will improve as I find my footing again. It's been a while since I've had to edit videos and stuff like that, but I really appreciate the support. So yeah, I hope you guys like and comment, share, subscribe for more, click the little bell down there to be notified for all future video releases. You know, and maybe there'll be a video about this band at some point, or this band, Vampire Weekend. you guys will have to wait and see. But again, thank you guys for the support, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.